The Unfiltered by Jade.
Jade. Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade, where we get out of the box and dive into topics that are sidelined. I look forward to entertain, educate, and inspire. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, donate, and make everybody know about this.
Beats by RB Records, a proud sponsor of The Unfiltered by Jade.
Shopping Assistance Jamaica takes the stress away. Our services include online and local shopping in Jamaica for individuals and businesses, personal shopping, purchasing of company and office supplies, importing and exporting small packages across Jamaica and worldwide, helping you to find unique gifts and items for all events and occasions. Contact us at 876-919-5195. Shopping Assistance 2015 at gmail.com. Follow Shopping Assistance on Instagram at Shopping Assist JA, at Twitter at Shopping Assist 5, and Facebook at The Shopping Assistance. Shopping Assistance, your style, your budget. Welcome to the Unfiltered by Jade. Today we have with us Dawn, and she's gonna talk to us about being an entrepreneur and things that come with it. How to maneuver and work through it and become the best that we can be. So we're gonna jump into it. So hi Dawn, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am doing good. Doing good. All right. So can you tell us about yourself, please?
Okay. So I am an entrepreneur. I have been an entrepreneur for approximately 20 years. I am a hairdresser by trade. That's my first passion.
Mm-hmm.
My book, which caters to the entrepreneur, especially the emotional side of being an entrepreneur, the B.Y.T.C.H book, basically is like a comforting thing to where a lot of people, especially those who are new to it, or maybe you don't have an actual brick and mortar, you need to know what actually happens behind the scenes, because most people have no idea. And it's, I have a lot of experience telling my story and then comforting people because of my trade. So, when you go to the hairdresser, you always talking to the hairdresser and she's talking to you. So all my clients know my whole life story. So it just was like natural for me just to go right into it and make a book, because it's comforting and make you feel, even if you don't like me, you gravitate to me like, man, she got some information,
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, I'm gonna take a little pause right here.
Okay.
I don't know if it's your headphone, but I don't know if it's when you're talking, something is hitting up against it, so it's not right.
Let me move it, because I got the beats. In fact, I'm gonna hold it out while we talking. Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for saying that, because it was doing that when I do my podcast and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, because I don't want it to distort what you're saying. I want people to hear what you're saying.
Yeah. So. Okay, I'm gonna hold it out the whole time.
Well, we're gonna try and finish, so you don't hold it out too long.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good. So, can you please tell us what the B.Y.T.C.H book is about?
Okay, so it stands for Building Your Trojan Creative Horse. The B.Y.T.C.H book is about the emotional side of being an entrepreneur. So it basically tells what I've been through.
Right.
So it starts out with my first experience in the brick and mortar location, where the title of that chapter is The Geriatric Psycho.
Okay.
And this landlord was insane. And I thought that it was exclusive to just me and this experience. But the more I got to talking to all these other entrepreneurs who have brick and mortars, this is standard, where your landlord, the commercial landlord, is a bully. Because they look at you like, well, you work for yourself. You're not used to having a boss. But I'm going to torture you like how your boss would if you was out in the real, what they consider the real workforce.
Right.
And I don't
Mm-hmm.
care. I don't care if I'm talking to a black person, white person, the exact same thing where they're being tortured. They'll torture you right out of business and laugh all the way to the bank. So,
Mm.
this lady, she did horrible things all the way to turning my air conditioner on in the middle of a heat wave. I mean, off. Excuse me. Yes, ma'am. So all that's in there. Yes, yes, she did.
Mm.
And it was she. The thing is what they're looking for, which I find is the common ground with these landlords. They're looking for lack of a better term, they're looking for slaves. They're looking for,
Yeah.
and this was a black lady. If I could put
Wow.
this in perfect perspective, I'm in PG County, Maryland, so
Wow.
that's majority black. So I
Right.
mean, people making big money. So, um, they're looking for. She was looking for somebody who would just bow down and allow her to do whatever she wanted to do, and that is the
Right.
same. And um, that's the same where I'm at now. That's just what it is, and it's hard to grasp that when you're going into the entrepreneur field because you're thinking, I work for myself, I get to do, and you're
Right.
thinking one thing, and that's not so. This is the
Mm-hmm.
fight of your freaking life. Like, for
You
real,
better
this
believe
is
it. Yep.
it's sink or swim. And you
Yep.
can't be playing. So if you think you're about to escape from your regular 9 to 5 and go into peace, that's a lie. You're lying to yourself. So if you can't fight your boss, how you gonna fight
Mm-hmm.
the landlord? And
True.
stay calm enough to keep your clientele.
Mm.
Yes, it is serious. Cause I remember I wasn't ready at that time. So I'm crying. I know when she cut off the air conditioner, honey, I'm crying
Oh no.
over because when I'm angry, I cry. I'm one of them
Yep.
people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm standing over my client doing her hair. I think I had a little girl I had a little girl. Her mom's there, and I'm crying as I'm braiding this little girl's hair because I'm panicking because I don't know what to do. This is a black salon. Black people use heated hooded dryers, so I
Right.
cannot have people sweating under the dryer. So I don't even know what to do. And then my father, when I'm asking him like, what is she doing? Because I was so naive, and he was like, she's trying to put you out of business.
Yes.
And I'm like, how could she want to put me out of business? Because I wasn't in compliance. See, she wanted to torture, and she was. Them tenants is scared of her. She was opening
Mm.
people's mail. I have proof of this. You hear
Oh
me?
wow.
These people. Let me tell you how good these people get. They get into paying. And I can't prove this lady was doing it, but I'm telling you, it's standard practice that they know people in the town for licensing. You pay anybody, they do whatever you want them to do. And I
Mm.
know if it's a fact that she paid tremendous political contributions to PG County. That's public record. So
Okay.
if I got the county exec in pocket, you see what I'm saying, or I got all these other people in pocket, who the heck am I writing a letter saying I'm going through this? Please help me.
Right.
They like, well, shoot, this lady just gave us $10,000.
Right.
Who
Right.
the heck are
Mm.
you?
Yes.
With your little fees that you pay
Yes.
us.
Fees.
Right. So it's a book that's just full of
Yeah, the experiences that you have gone through.
absolute, and it molds you. I think being an entrepreneur, it helps you to, it's like you're healing. It's like you're going through a healing of you because you don't have a boss. So you have to fix whatever's wrong in your family or
Mm-hmm.
accept it
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. You
Yeah.
have to figure out if you got a drug problem. I had a cigarette smoking problem for years. All these
Mm.
things affect being an entrepreneur. So it's
Oh yeah.
it's actually, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. It's
Oh
actually
my God.
like a healing
Mm-hmm.
process. So you'll see things I had with my custody hearing with my eldest child, how I met my husband, different things where you'll see what happened and how it brought me to this time where you could have never told me I would write a book.
That's right. I get that. I get that. I mean, through our experiences, we can write, and
Yeah.
we can now teach others because of the experiences that we've had.
Yes.
So that's good. What's a fear factor behind being an entrepreneur?
Oh,
Because
you know
I
what I
mean, you
found?
stated some. You had stated some earlier. But tell us some more.
Woo, fear factor. Waking
Yes.
up in the morning knowing that a bill is due
Needs to prepare. Uh-huh.
and you don't have it. So I understand that people that work regular 9 to 5s have that same fear factor, but you know what
Uh-huh.
you're going to get every 2 weeks.
Right.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
fear in knowing that I hope I can advertise and promote myself enough to where a month from now it's so random. Like I just had a referral, make an appointment, and I'm like, my goodness, it's so random that okay, bam, or somebody who was walking past a salon suite that was down the hall getting their eyebrows done by somebody else happened to walk past and saw my salon suite and was like, hey, and it called me and made a deposit. Uh that is horrifying, but I know that you have to use that fear to propel you. Like I might wake up with anxiety. I'm like, nah, forget this. Let me make
Mm-hmm.
sure I'm put a couple Facebook posts. I belong to a whole lot of different groups. Let me
Ah,
post like that. So that fear
and
factor,
I was getting to that. Yes, I was getting to that because I was saying for people who are entrepreneurs, they have to push their own selves. So as you say, you have
yes,
to get up, you put yourself all
yes,
over the social media, Facebook, you put yourself on Instagram so people can actually know that you do something because it's not as if you're working for someone that, hey, you don't have to do all of that because they're the one that has to do it because they're paying you at the end of the day.
yeah,
It
and
is a
also,
situation now where, mhm.
oh, I'm sorry. Go
Go
ahead, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, it's a situation where you are the one that has to ensure that you
Yes,
pay yourself and take care of the things that need to be taken care of. So you don't have a, oh, I only work 9 to 5. You work all around
yes,
because
yes, ma'am.
you work hard and you don't take breaks because if you take a break, you don't get the money.
Right. And you got to figure out how you going to use your breaks. Like, I'm grateful that we did have the unemployment due to the pandemic because then I was able to start taking breaks that because you need to figure out when you're going to take the break so that your
Right.
body, you don't want it to shut down on you.
Right.
So another fear that I had for a long time before it actually happened was the fear of being audited. And I already know I'm gonna write a book on this. Within that's what I already said. That's gonna be my next one.
Right.
That was my fear. Like that was like the end of the world, and it happened. So we're just now
Mm.
at the tail end of the audit. The audit started in 2018. So yes. So when it
Oh,
happened, it was I didn't know, first it took me forever to figure out why it happened.
right.
We got a house, and so
Right.
long story short, when you have a certain amount in the bank, it's 10,000. I don't care what happened. If it's not a credit union, from my understanding, uh, they have to report it to the IRS, the bank,
Right.
the bank. So the mortgage, I don't know what the term is. A mortgage lender, yeah, her. She made us put. She kept telling my husband to put more money in the bank, and I kept saying, "Why is she saying this?" It was almost like she was setting
Right.
us up. But we ended up being audited. I think that uh, the most important thing, excuse me, sorry, the most
Mm.
important thing that I learned was that I didn't have my paperwork together.
Okay.
So it's extremely important that I think that those things help you to grow. So once your worst fear hits you in the face and it's like, oh,
Right.
and then I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. So really I need to get my stuff together. So that's when I
Okay.
started understanding how to properly formulate your paperwork, how to do the paperwork immediately. Like right now, I'm doing
Right then
paperwork
and there. Right.
immediately so that 2022 come, all I gotta do is press print. So, and then all that
Ah.
also goes
Yes.
along with what's going on in your personal life. Are you okay where you're processing things properly at home? Are you eating properly? All these things make a difference on is your mind clear enough to even stay on top of your paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
the another thing I learned about the audit process was hilarious when I first noticed when I first found we was getting audited. The guy, the original auditor, I just was faxing paperwork like nothing. I didn't have nothing in order. And he was like, "What is this?" I don't understand. I think we're confused about what position an employee of the IRS is in. That's not their job to sort out your receipts. That's
Right.
your job. It's your fault.
Yes. Yes.
So that was a fear that I had, and that has since um gone because I've experienced this. So I'm like, oh well, I know I'm having my paperwork in order.
Experience teaches wisdom there also.
Yeah.
Um, how do you balance being emotional? And how do you know when to react and not to react?
Oh,
In regards to something.
well, children will do that, right? Honey. But I think you know what helped me. I can't even say children did that. I worked at a nursing home. I was a manager of, and then ended up becoming the actual operator of this nursing home salon.
Okay.
And to be able to be in that environment where you're dealing with grown ups in their pampers or whatever, having a tantrum, they might throw up whatever, and you have to maintain a straight face.
Mm-hmm.
That helped.
Yep.
That helped with the emotional side and not to
Yeah.
explode because you're not going. Well, the way you, I think it depends on how you
Ah.
raised. So I'm not gonna flick out on no 90-year-old, you know, or
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, the younger ones. So
right.
if all right. So say for yeah, I mean, there's so many instances that can happen where all right, say, all right, we're doing this podcast. So you have your podcast, I have my podcast.
Right.
If it is that, um, some people start saying all sorts of negative things on your
Yeah.
post, how do you react to that?
I don't.
Um,
It took a long time for me to get there. It was actually a lady from the Caribbean that had to tell me, no, you cannot talk to people like that. And look, she had to tell me, no, you need to say good morning when you're like she taught me
yes,
all that stuff. I was because I just was like, yeah, okay, you know, and she was like, no, 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 no. It's good morning and then it's thank you and have a great
yes,
day. You know? So
yes. Uh huh.
and then also the reaction part, that's not that hard because I believe once you're married or you have children or you have different things that prepare you for those things, I just look at it like, and thank you so much. Like I get the bad reviews. I'm salon owner, so I had one lady. Lord, I was so mad. She didn't even come to get her hair done, and
Mm,
it was a free. That's when I was doing free hairstyles, like as promotion. And this lady didn't come because and it was my fault. I scheduled her, but then I needed money. So I was like, can I just change the hairstyle as if she's paying? I don't even know why she ain't sit there and say, okay. She got mad and talking trash. I thought that was in. She gonna leave a nasty review. It's still up there. And so I was like, oh my God, I couldn't respond like, Heifer, you didn't even pay. You know what I'm saying?
did you?
No, I
You
didn't. I can't do that. That's not right. I'm not one of them owners. So I was just like, I'm so sorry that this happened. I forgot what I said, but I didn't mean it. And I'm saying it publicly, I wanted to cuss that lady out. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? Because you ain't even paying. You going to leave a bad review, like for real? But
If it is that she knows she was gonna get this hairstyle, and
yeah,
then now she come and she no longer get
I mean, she
she's no
right.
longer gonna get it.
She right.
She's gonna be upset.
I mean, look, I was wrong. I was wrong. I learned my lesson, and I bet you I don't do no more free hairstyles. I bet you that. I learned my lesson. Honey, no, that's over.
Like,
That is
it's
over.
you're not doing any more free
No,
hairstyles.
no, you gonna pay me. You gonna pay me well. My prices is not cheap no more. I ain't playing. You gonna pay me well, honey. You hear me? For real.
Oh my goodness.
And they steady go up because the older I get, my tolerance lessens. But my lesson for real, what I really learned was what I learned from that experience is to be detailed in
Yes,
your
you have to be.
policies.
Have to be.
And that's when I learned. I said, "Oh, I need to say." So I start restricting
Yes.
it. When I did the free hairstyles after that, I say you can only get like a roller set, this and that, any style that takes
Yes.
under an hour.
Has to be detailed.
Yeah, and that's what I understood. Then I start looking at other stores different. When I walk into stores and see all these policies on the wall, I said, "Oh, they had a psycho come in here.
Yes.
That's why."
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You have to be very detailed, because if you don't,
Yes.
people can get under your skin with stuff, and then they say, yeah, but you didn't say this, but you
Yeah.
didn't say that.
Yes.
And the truth is, we're told that the customer is always right.
And that's a lie.
So
That's a
it's
lie.
It's a lie, but if it is that we want business, because if people don't come to our, if people don't listen to our podcast, if people don't come to our
Right.
businesses, if people don't support us, we ain't getting no money.
That's true. And
So,
you that is correct. So you're right in that, and that's why it's like my reaction, believe me, honey, I'll be screaming behind these eyes, and I'm so glad we had to start wearing masks because
uh-huh.
my face be twisted up like I cannot believe this, but I would just be like, well, this is not gonna work, ma'am. And
Yes,
we're not
exactly.
going to do
Yes,
this.
it's not
It
gonna
takes a
work.
lot
Yes.
for me. In general, I'm not going to flick out and curse out no customer. That just doesn't happen. But what
Right.
does happen is I will fire you. It's no question. You will get
Right.
fired. But I can count on one hand how many times I've had to fire a client because they go that far. It takes a lot for me to take me there,
Mm.
but in general, most time when I put up a policy, it's fine, you know?
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
Like that's why I charge a deposit because people kept not showing or and I'd be like, okay, 50%
Yeah, and
deposit
that can be
required.
frustrating.
Yeah.
That can be frustrating.
So
You have to know what you're
instead of
doing.
cursing people out, I just come up with a different policy. So when my first policy was $5 for the deposit, and
Okay.
I thought nobody was going to do it, and then people start paying it. I said once somebody violates the $5 policy, it's going to be 50%. And I had that one
Yep.
person that didn't show up for the $5 policy, and now it's 50%. I haven't had no problems. I haven't had no
Yep.
problems.
Yep. Yep. And
Yeah.
that's good. What are some of the strategies that we can use as an entrepreneur in this business?
Oh man, anger control
Yes. Anger
and
control.
facial
Yes.
expression control.
You have to keep a poker face. Yeah.
You have to. I literally was in the mirror, and that was me preparing to go to court. So that has helped in me being an entrepreneur. You have to be in the mirror when you know how you be thinking about something that's bothering you. Look
Right.
at yourself. I don't care if you're in a car mirror. Practice relaxing your face muscles
Yes.
because that is essential. Because a lot of these psychos that come in that want to press your buttons, that's how they act everywhere. So they just
Yep.
automatically know I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna press. I'm gonna press Jay's button,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know. And
It's true. It's true.
yeah,
Hmm.
so I think anger control, facial expression control, um, and then balancing work and home. I think that's essential. Understand what your priorities are. So it's no amount of money I won't drop if something happens like to my children or my husband. Like let's say they get in an accident or one of my children, I gotta pick them up from school because something immediately happened. I will cancel out a book of clients immediately. Because you have
Yes.
to, and a lot of people have a problem doing that, but that's the power in being an entrepreneur that you can choose your family first more so than somebody with a 9 to 5. So
Right.
those are my three things: balance the family, and control, and poker face.
And poker face. How do you deal with rejection?
Oh, that's taken years.
Ah,
That
listen to me.
has taken years. Like
Listen.
and you know what? Let me tell you something. I think it depends on perspective. Like when they say glass half empty, glass half full. That perspective. It was a guy, the guy who the book writing class I took,
Okay.
and he is teaching us how, or was teaching us how to go on like what I'm doing now, promote your book or whatever. So
Hmm.
I remember him saying, you make a list. And he said, what he did, he'd make a list, and he had like 100 people that you reached out to, and you might have, I think he said 20 people to reach back out and say yes. And
Hmm.
he was like, and look at that. That's a really good return. That's a 20% return. And then I said, now, if you look at it from a negative perspective, you might say, I only had 20 people respond out of
That ain't
100.
nothing.
But if you look at it
Exactly.
from the other perspective, where it's like the glass is half full, it's kind of like you psyching yourself out. Like, yeah, like I was saying to another podcast host, I was saying, I swear, between me and my baby boy reaching out online trying to get interviews, maybe at least 100, I might have got 10. So I think that if you put in the forefront of your mind, this person is going to say no, then you psyching yourself out, because by the time they say yes, it's like, oh wow, yes. It's like a thing of psyching yourself out. That's how you, to me, get used to
Ah.
rejection. Most people going to say no in entrepreneurship. They're going to say no to you.
Listen, I don't think people are ready for it. And
Oh,
I'm
you're right.
saying that because because I'm coming up far away where that is concerned also.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started this podcast, I started it last year, and when I did, I the amount of no's I got,
Mm-hmm.
or the amount of no respond,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a taken back. I was like, oh my goodness. And I went to my husband, oh my God, what is happening? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm freaking out, and nobody's responding. Nobody wants
Mm-hmm.
to be on the podcast. Nobody. And he had to say, even if it is that you sent to 10 persons and you got 4 persons, you got a lot.
That's right.
So look at it that way instead of looking at you didn't get anybody, because the 10 persons could have said no,
Right.
but still you got 4 persons. So start with those 4 persons and continue doing that way. So I mean, I am much better now. Almost a year later,
Yes.
I am much better. Where if it is that I send out an email or send out something and I don't get a response, I don't take it to heart, because man, I remember being in that, I was in that bath and I was crying.
Oh.
Oh my, because it's rejection. Nobody likes to feel rejected, especially when it is that you have put in work in what you're doing. You stay up all night, you stay up all day, you're trying to get this thing right, and you put it out there, and then you go to someone and you say, hey, I have something that I love and I want you to be a part of it, and you hear no.
Hey, and you know what? Another part of that you got to understand is people is effed up. I'm serious, and I don't mean like maliciously with malicious intent. People are suffering and they're going through their own mess. So I'm gonna give you an example with my book. That's a new venture. So yeah, I got a lot of no responses because they didn't know what to say. Some people is just going through something. So it was this one particular person. This is hilarious. Let me explain something to you. I did a book launch to where I asked you, hey, did you want to be a part of it? Da, 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 whatever. And the person said yes, right? That means I put you on this phone thing to where you get like the blast text, right? Where it'll say
Right,
it keep you updated. So I only got about 4 blast texts over the course of 6 weeks. It wasn't like totally overwhelming your phone. By the time I sent out the second text that said the preview for the book, the several people going to do stop on it. They didn't want to see no more. They did a stop, so I could see the stop. I was pissed because I'm like, I asked you, you didn't have to say nothing. So let me take it
right,
a step further. Some of them I just straight. That's when I start going through my friend list. Sometimes it's best to limit your friend list. I said, why am I in my personal Facebook friends with all these people that's not my friends? I made it so it's majority family because that's who I
right,
really want to see. So
right.
I had unfriended this person. You know, this person reached back out after the book came out. Mind you, he said stop, right? And so talking about
Mm-hmm.
did he miss something, and like playing the guilt eats certain people up. So
And
and
you're
this
still
is actually an
upset, man. You're
ex-client.
still
I couldn't
upset.
believe this. This is an ex-client, right? So then I was like, what you talking about? And then he was like, then he gonna proceed to play dumb. Do you hear me? Proceed to play dumb. And I couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe this. So this is what I said. You're the one who pressed stop. You have to type in stop. You type stop so you didn't want to be part of it. I'm just going through this and that. Girl, I left that thing right. And you know how Facebook could tell if you open up I didn't even finish reading that hot mess. So that's another way you don't take stuff personally. People is a hot mess.
Oh
You don't know what kind of mess they going through behind closed doors. So you don't know what kind of drugs people are on. They might be drinking. You just gotta keep going. People are crazy. Can you believe that though? Can you
my
believe that?
goodness.
And then this is the thing. I swear to God, the other people, they like this. The other 3 people, I said, Dag, I thought you said you want to be a part of it. Oh, I don't remember pressing stop. No, you know you had to type in stop. You know you had to, girl. So, people just is screwed up and you have to accept that. Okay? It's some issues. You don't even know what's going on and let it go. All right? And look, I'm glad you said that about your husband because I think that it depends on your support system too. That makes a difference on how you can separate rejection. Because my husband's the same way. He like F them people. So what? We're gonna do. I had one lady say your book isn't nobody's gonna take you serious. Mind you, she ain't working for herself. How you gonna give me advice? Why would I take advice from you and you work for the government? You don't even have a business. You see what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking? So that was my husband. F her. Who is she? What does she have? You know? I think it's essential, especially I don't care who you are, your spouse or whoever gotta be like your ride or die, like, nah. So what? We're gonna keep going. You know, it's important. It is
Yes,
so important.
it is important
Yes.
to have that mindset.
Yes. It's so important. That gotta be your rock. You know, that gotta be your ride or die.
Why you know some kind of people
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Man, this girl set up the people them.
I got you cracking up in here.
Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. Whew.
Oh
Oh Lord
man.
Jesus. Okay. Oh, that was funny. All right.
Yeah, you just gotta keep it moving. That's
What?
all. Like,
Yeah, and that's what I want to know. What is it that keeps you
oh man.
motivated?
Well, you know, I don't know if you already know, but I'm Muslim, so that a lot of the rules in Islam go hand in hand with entrepreneurship, which is so interesting to me. I didn't become Muslim till I was grown, so I'm just like,
Okay.
this is so interesting. The anger control, not excessively talking, like a lot of different rules, and I'm just like, wow, that's what keeps me going first and foremost. You know, wake up with that, and then what keeps me going, my children, absolutely, husband,
Yes.
all that stuff, and then my future goals after I get my money, because my goal is, you know, my plans are huge. I ain't that type of person that's, you know, want to walk around stunting with all this, you know, jewelry, this and that. My goal is to help people. When I make my millions, I want to have like some serious programs helping people. So that's like a big driving factor in how I wake up, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, you know, because I do it for free anyway. People ask me for advice for
Okay.
years, and you know, how do I get an EIN number? How do I get this? And I be like, girl, and I'll send a link, you know, because I think that we
Right.
don't do that for each other as humans. I don't even think it's a black thing. A lot of black people
Right.
think it's just a black thing. Nah, when I moved down here around these white people, they do it to each other too, where they put each other on tiers, where you got where they consider the trash and you're beneath us and all that. So I think that I think if you wake up in the morning and you want to help people, that is such a beautiful motivating factor, you know, because you get it back. It's
Right.
reciprocated, you know.
Thank you so much, Don. Listen, I laughed today.
Yes, I'm glad you
You made me
did.
laugh. Thank you so much for that. I laughed so much. I laughed so much. And I mean, it's good. I mean, because these are some of the things that we experience as
Yes.
entrepreneurs. And I guess we have to know how to kind of deal with it. Because if we don't deal with it well, we lose clients or potential people that could be a part of our business or could help the business, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So we have to really know how to deal with it and how to be better persons. And if it is that, as I say, we can't show face or do what we want to do, or sometimes I feel like to beat some of them, you can't do it. So you go home and you talk to your spouse or the persons, whoever it is that you have as support system, to help
Right.
us through. Yeah. So we have reached the end of it. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast, Don. Um, really appreciate you being on it. I want you to let people know where they can find you on your social media and where they can get the book
And I
also.
also want to say, I meant to say at the beginning, but thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that. And so that your audience
Yes,
can
no
hear this
problem.
wonderful good time we had today. So y'all could start out by finding me my
Yes.
.com. That has all the businesses. I had to put everything together. It is I
Okay.
am DawnWilliams.com. I am
Okay.
DawnWilliams.com. As far as the book,
Right.
it's the B.Y.T.C.H book. That's on Instagram as well as on Facebook. So it's the
Okay,
same,
nice.
the B.Y.T.C.H book. And it can actually, if you go to the BYTCH.com, that will give you the direct link to Amazon. So you ain't got to search for it. It can be difficult because I noticed a lot of people had that name. So
Okay.
it'll take you
Okay.
right to the Amazon link. So that's how you can find me.
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you so much again. And I want to thank you guys for listening to the Unfiltered, and we'll be back next week, Tuesday. Thank
Okay.
you.